While I could certainly do this episode standing up in front of the movie posters, I think I'll stay right down here. We have to finish out Fuller House in a way that looks like I feel on the inside when watching Fuller House. Dark, alone, bleak. I smell kind of funny. I need a shave. It's important that I look like I'm in solitary confinement. This is Season 5B, and I have to say this again. Season 5A was 6 months ago, so this is a new season. They say there's 5 seasons, but between Season 3 and Season 5 being split up, there were 7 seasons. Weird. Feels like 27. If you didn't know this was the final season, we've got the meta jokes handy. It opens with the girls talking about something else, but they're saying things like, why does it have to end, especially when people like it so much? I wish the final season of Breaking Bad opened the same way. And if you miss it, they do it a few more times. Ramona leaves the room and says, I'm gonna go binge watch the final season of my favorite family show. I'm assuming she means she's gonna go watch Season 2 of Hello Larry. If you need to be caught up, there's gonna be a triple wedding because the girls are marrying their fiancés in what I assume is a polygamy cult. What? That's what they all act like. Kimmy's parents are invited to their engagement party, but they're busy traveling the world for like 20 years. They're still a no-show, and they even say that they haven't even met their teenage granddaughter. Do they even exist, or do they just not like their kids? Hell, at one point, Kimmy and Jimmy dress up like their parents and even pretend to be them. Oh, therapy session. Speaking of sadness, DJ finds the suit of her deceased husband Tommy in the closet, and when the audience reacted like really sad, I had to ask, who's that? I've seen every episode of the show, and I completely forgot about DJ's deceased husband, Tommy Sr. I guess I just figured that her sons were from divine insemination. It just hit me that Steve and DJ are waiting until after they're married to move in together. Whoa, settle down, Mike Seaver. Now I want an extra season that shows the two of them murdering each other, War of the Roses style, after 3 days. Or another spin-off that shows that Steve is really a serial killer. It would explain his creepiness. He acts like Ted Bundy's long-lost, possibly gay son. The girls spend their time at a wedding expo, while the kids do High School Musical. Ramona and Jackson audition for a school musical, and yes, there are High School Musical references, and Zac Efron's association with that franchise, 'cause what year is this? Ramona is definitely the Sharpay, meaning she's trained extensively for this, but Jackson gets the lead 'cause he figures it'll be a nice lark or something. Though he is great at lip-syncing. It never really shows any of this happening at the school. They all just explain it in the house during exposition scenes. In other words, you should probably just stick with the elementary school musical episode of South Park. Ooh, a Thanksgiving episode. Happy June 2nd, everyone. Things are getting serious. Stephanie is taking over the cooking, and she's not even gonna make the cheesy potatoes. Truly the most tragic event to happen this week. Between a wedding and DJ not wanting to do Thanksgiving, this is like a Hobby Lobby version of the final season of Friends. Since this is a family gathering episode, Danny, Joey, and Jesse are all there, and I'm genuinely shocked that there hasn't been some kind of meta joke about Aunt Becky being gone. I'm sure they still will. They've been meta about everything else. Hell, one season even had them doing a Dave Coulier Alanis Morissette reference. It's bad enough they didn't make this one a clip show. The adults are all trapped in a freezer. Did they not see the Clerks animated series? They easily could have made this a clip show. Every episode references past episodes anyway. This one's the second time this season they've referenced Stephanie driving the car through the kitchen. Hell, this episode itself also has Stephanie driving a car through the kitchen. I know which episode of Full House the writers watched before they wrote this season. Well, the giant hole in the kitchen is fixed, 'cause of course it is. The guys are all trying on their tuxes, and Max is helping them like a tiny queer eye for the straight guy. Seriously, they're not going to acknowledge that this character is gay, are they? The older kids, however, are preparing for college. Moving away is a sign of a final season, but kids moving away could also be something that happens midway through a series when a kid wants a movie career. Jackson, however, doesn't want to go to college. Hear, hear! I dropped out of college and look at me! I'm watching Fuller House from a closet. I joke, but I really do have the world's easiest job. DJ, however, wants to show him that college is great, so she dresses like a cheerleader. More therapy! This causes shenanigans when they crash a sorority party so they can steal a golden cap or something. Move over, Revenge of the Nerds. This is like if the Wonder Joints were a pack of red vines. Oh, they explain Max a little bit in this episode, in that they say he's just like an old man. Yeah, that's it. Though when he changes his wardrobe to be more popular at school, he does look a little like that Steve Buscemi "Hello, fellow kids" meme. The important part of the episode, though, is the sandwich eating competition between Ramona and a guy named Berkowitz, which makes it seem like they're competing in an eating competition with the son of Sam. My food, however, appropriately arrived during this episode. I got some Chinese food from a place called Mr. Wonton, and any Chinese restaurant with the word Mr. in the name immediately gets my attention. It reminds me of a place called Mr. Egg Roll, which was a Springfield, Illinois staple for decades. Yes, I may have gotten food poisoning twice from Mr. Egg Roll, but it was cheap, and it was my garbage. May it rest in peace. Oh, Mr. Wonton was good, by the way. I feel fine. The food continues here. Kimmy begins working for DJ at the vet clinic, where she immediately begins eating dog treats. I'm sorry, should this character be getting married and not living in a home? She's a terrible receptionist. She doesn't take any of their messages. She dresses up like a dog and spins a sign out in front of the clinic, and her brother wears a shrunken t-shirt on his head. I don't think their parents abandoned them. I think they accidentally killed their parents. I weirdly thought that I accidentally skipped an episode when this one opens with a "Welcome back, Stephanie" sign. What? Where'd she go? She's been in every episode this season. Apparently she spent a couple of days being the opening act for Lisa Loeb. Why am I not watching that show? Jodie Sweetin is one of the best parts about this series, so a show in which she and Lisa Loeb hit the road together, yeah, I'd watch it. Okay, so I think they kinda reference Aunt Becky here, sorta. Uncle Jesse walks into the room, and he's on the phone saying things like, "This is a crime, it'll haunt her for the rest of her life." He's talking about his daughter, but I don't know if that was meant to be a reference because there's no pause for laughter, and no one looks at the camera. He does mention that Aunt Becky is in Nebraska helping out her mom, but again, that's just treated as a throwaway line, not a joke. Oh, what, too far, Fuller House? What was it, at least 3 times that they looked into the camera to reference Michelle? Well, the Fullers could afford to fix a hole in their kitchen in a day, so of course they can afford to build a fully functioning game show set in their living room. The couples all perform on a Max version of the Newlywed Game, and the Gibblers are all upset because they're losing to Steve and DJ. You're right, I should be watching the Parks and Rec episode where April and Andy do bad on Tom's Newlywed Game. Also, they're not in-jokey with Aunt Becky, but they are with commercial breaks when Max says, "What kind of a TV show has commercial breaks?" Okay, you don't need to advertise Netflix on a show that you need Netflix to watch, and I think that kinda counts as a commercial break, sorta. And who cares if DJ and Steve win the Newlywed Game? I'm sure Mickey and Mallory Knox would too, and I don't want to be like them. The wedding series finale is almost here, and you can tell because characters are talking about moving away. Yep, definitely a final season. The Gibblers are moving to open another sandwich shop, and I think Stephanie and Jimmy are also moving out. I don't know. It's a final season. I'm assuming everyone's moving away. Jimmy, however, should also move into a home, because when Max walks in with fencing gear, he thinks Max is an alien. This man should not be raising a child. The girls make another trip to the attic because they need their something old, something borrowed, and something for an excuse to reference an old episode. Hell, they find their mom's old wedding veil and, right. I forgot their mom's dead. There's a dramatic scene where Stephanie is crying because she has no memories of their mom, but this ends with a joke where DJ's crying because she has to reapply her makeup. You know, DJ is kind of the worst. Yeah, I know, I should have remembered that Danny is a widower, but I'm bad at remembering the past relationships on this show. I forgot Ramona has a boyfriend, and is Jackson still dating Rocky? I mean, she's there, but I thought they broke up. I guess they didn't. Shoulda looked at the Wikipedia before starting the final season. Whatever. I'm on not give a crap mode. We got one episode left. Let's get this over with. Well, it's good that this is the last episode because the previous one showed that Steve is great at throwing axes, so he's gonna murder DJ. This is the day of the big wedding, but oh no, the church they were gonna get married in has been seized, so they do it in their backyard instead. Why didn't they just always plan on getting married in their backyard? They do everything else there anyway. Hell, they were even able to book Joey McIntyre last minute to officiate the wedding. It causes DJ to say, "Oh, my McIntyre!" This show isn't very realistic. And guess who they booked to sing? Lisa Loeb! Although Stephanie does tour with her, so she was probably invited to the wedding anyway. Yeah, I'll allow it. It's a 34-minute episode, so there's a lot of vows, a lot of wedding speeches, and a tearful moving away goodbye at the end. They leave the keys for Mr. Trieger, Gary Coleman buys a spare room, and Tim Taylor puts the house on wheels. I'm kidding. With everything all packed, the Gibblers and Stephanie all decide at the last minute, hey, we'll just stay. I'm used to the moving away series finale plots, but I'm not used to the never mind, we're not moving at all twist. Oh, there's another reveal too. Stephanie announces that she's pregnant. Remember in season 1 when she said she couldn't? One sentence in a series finale. That counts as an arc, right? Why am I even mad? It's finally over. Okay, look, I'll be positive. It's very clear that all of these actors are very close and had a lot of fun making this series. It does seem like they have a genuine appreciation for their show and wanted to get back together to relive a lot of that and update it. I'm glad they fixed Max, who went from being insanely annoying in the first couple of seasons to basically being a miniature Gil from Frasier. Jodie Sweetin was really good. I liked how they incorporated her own hard-drinking, partying past into the character of Stephanie. What's not so positive, for a show that's all about DJ and Steve getting back together, they made the horrible mistake of having Steve be this creepy, stalker, crazy man for a couple seasons. The show also wanted both things. It wanted to genuinely be a TGIF sitcom, while every now and then saying in-jokes and looking into the camera. That's not really satire. That's like you're watching a straightforward procedural, and then out of nowhere a few times it turns into the 21 Jump Street movie. It never goes the full Brady Bunch movie. It's just the Brady Bunch if one time it referenced the Sure Jan meme. But I mean, look, this show isn't for me. I wasn't a Full House guy, but I'm sure that people who loved Full House probably enjoyed this series. If they did a sequel series to a cornball show that I liked, I'd probably be into it. I'd certainly watch it. I think I maybe only got like 3 chuckles out of this final season. But if you throw on some Family Matters, I'm gonna laugh my ass off. Fuller House isn't hurting anyone. Am I glad it's over? Yeah, because I watched it for the site. But if I didn't have this binge-watching series, I wouldn't have watched it and certainly couldn't have cared less that it was on. The only reason it does make me mad is my go-to reason for whenever there's a show I don't like that has multiple seasons. Full House had 8 seasons and a multi-season sequel series. The Critic, one of my favorite shows, only had 2 seasons. That's what makes me mad. I also have no idea what I'm gonna do next now that this show is over. Probably Saved by the Bell, Family Matters, Full House. Just not at the same time.